If you've been sewing for a little while now and you're looking for some other products that is going to really help you improve your sewing and your finished product, then this video is for you. If you haven't seen my first part of this video, which is sewing tools for beginners, then I'll leave the card up in the corner, I believe in this one, and we'll get straight into it. Welcome to my channel Sew & Stash. My name is Jodie, and if you're new here, welcome. Today's video we're going to be talking about some other product tools that is going to help you to improve your sewing. Some of these will be for seam finishing, some of these will be for doing straight stitches, and one of the products I have is for planning what you are going to make and keeping a record of what you're going to make. There's also going to be a product for all of those out there that trace their patterns and that really struggle to trace their patterns. So I've got a perfect product for you. Disclaimer, none of these products are sponsoring my video or anything like that. These are the things that I've acquired over time and that I found really help with my sewing and to improve the finished product or garment in my case, as I sew a lot of clothes. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. So for the first item I wanted to talk about, it's about finishing seams. Now there is many different ways that you can finish seams. When you first start out, finishing seams isn't something that you necessarily think about, but it's really important to keep your garment or your project lasting longer, essentially. You don't want to have to wash it and then it just unravels and comes apart. So one of the first things I would suggest when you're starting out or you've been sewing for a little bit is some pinking shears. Now I don't know if you can see that, they've got kind of like a tooth edge, and what they do is they cut your fabric in like a zigzag on the end, which doesn't completely stop fraying, but it does help with it not fraying as much. Now I've been sewing for a couple of years now and I still use these, and I tend to use them in garments that are going to be lined, so I don't want to necessarily overlock them because I'm trying to avoid bulk. So if it's a seam that's going to be inside and then lined on top, I will tend to use pinking shears to this day, and they work pretty effectively. They're really good on cottons, on silks and things like that, but well, not necessarily on silks. They do sometimes pull on the fabric, but I still think these are really, really valuable and I use them all the time. The next item that I would suggest is a cover stitch foot. Now, if you have a modern sewing machine, the chances are that your sewing machine will come with this foot. And if it does, you can have a look at your sewing machine manual and it will tell you exactly what stitch to use. I'll pop up a video of me demonstrating how this works. But essentially, you're lining up the fabric with the edge of the presser foot, and then when you're going across, it will zigzag your raw edges and prevent them from fraying. Now maybe you have a vintage sewing machine and you don't have the option for a cover stitch foot, or you're a person like me who doesn't want to have to keep switching feet every time they want to finish a seam. So the other option, and it is a bit more expensive, is the overlocker. So, I get my big beast. Here's my big beast. Mine's a Singer overlocker, and I've got it threaded already. These machines are absolutely brilliant. They're loud, they are very loud, but what they do as well as overlock the edges, they also can, if you want to, cut off the excess fabric so that you get a perfect finish as you're going along. So that is a second option. Now they are a little bit more pricey. I picked mine up from Lidl, I believe, just when I was doing my weekly shop, and mine cost £200. You can get them cheaper, you can get them second hand. I do love my overlocker. I do use it all the time. I do use it to finish my seams. I never rethread it. Like, overlockers are a nightmare to thread. There's lots of different tips and tricks out there for how to do it, but essentially they are a nightmare. So at the minute I have white spools of thread on my overlocker, and they have been there for well over a year, and it doesn't matter what kind of garment I am sewing, what colour it is, I use white thread. It's going to be on the inside, no one's going to see it, I'm not really bothered as long as my edges don't fray. Now another product that I would 100% suggest, and I've recently acquired, is a light board. Now I hate tracing patterns. I absolutely hate it. I really struggle with it. And then I discovered light boards. I brought one for my daughter for tracing and things. It was quite a small one. But then I found out that you can get them in a lot bigger sizes. So I had a look on Amazon and I found this. Oh, let me get this big boy. I'll try and show you. So here's my light board. Essentially it is, what's the size? It's 42 centimeters by 60, this light board here. I'll pop up a video so you can see. And what it does is you pop your pattern on the light board and then you pop your tracing paper on top, and then it has 3 settings on it so that you can see your pattern through. Now, depending on how thick the tracing paper is and how thick the pattern paper is, can make it really difficult. But with a light board, it has 3 different light options, so it doesn't matter how thick either your tracing paper is or the pattern paper. Say like Tilly and the Buttons, her paper patterns come on quite thick, substantial paper. You can turn the brightness up on this light board and you will be able to see it perfectly. I now am more inclined to trace my patterns than initially, where I'd just get really frustrated and I'd cut them unless I might want to come back again to them. But I 100% suggest this. I will leave the link down below. I got mine from Amazon. There is other places you can get yours. I'm not sure if the place that I got mine from ships out to other countries, but I'll leave the link down below so you can check that out. Now, if you've made a few projects and you're starting to venture out and what kind of fabrics you use, so like maybe you're using some stretchy fabric or maybe you're using some slippery fabric, then I would suggest a walking foot. If you can see that, I will pop a video in of me using this, but essentially it is a foot with feed dogs on, and this works within unison with your sewing machine's feed dogs, and it helps to glide the fabric through really smoothly. It helps to prevent fabric from slipping around as much, and it helps to prevent your jersey fabric from stretching out as much. So I absolutely 100% suggest this. I use it quite a lot and I wouldn't be without it now. Now, when it comes to sewing in a straight line, it can be really difficult to follow the guide on the sewing plate. And I know a lot of people suggest getting some colourful tape or masking tape and popping it along the guide plate to mark out your seam allowance. Now, I really hate that idea. 1, because I can never find tape in my house, period, anyway. But 2, I really don't want sticky residue all over my sewing machine that's going to get on my fabric. So when I was out shopping, I came across this guy. I believe I got him from Hobbycraft, but I know they sell these on Amazon. And what he is a guide, a sewing guide. So he has a magnet on the back, and you line the edge up with your guide on your sewing plate, and then you just sew. I mean, he sticks by a magnet, so you can move him as much as you want. The magnet is quite strong, so once it's on the sewing plate, it does stay. And I find that this works a lot better than tape and a lot better than trying to follow the guide on the sewing plate. I absolutely love him, and I use him for every every project, should I say, goodness. But yeah, I got this one from Hobbycraft. I think he was only like £2, if that. I think Amazon sell them for like £1.50 or less than that. So he's really inexpensive. You don't have to search for tape, and he's got little snaily fits, which always makes me happy. So I would definitely suggest getting a little magnet seam guide. Yeah, he's brilliant. Now, the last thing I'm going to suggest in terms of products to help you up your sewing game is a sewing planner. Now, it doesn't have to be this sewing planner, but a sewing planner really helps you. This has become my Bible. I will pop up a video in so you can like have a quick look through this book, but essentially in this book what I have is all the sewing projects that I'm making or have made or intend to make, and then what I do after I've made that garment is put notes in, like, did it work? Didn't it work? Why didn't it work? Do I need to change sizes? Does it need a full bust adjustment? Was the fabric wrong? And I correlate all that information in that, so whenever I want to attempt a project again that went wrong, I can refer back to my sewing projects planner and see what went wrong, what went right, and why. It is absolutely invaluable to me, and it's probably one of the best purchases I made. Now, you don't have to obviously buy this particular sewing planner. You could just print off a sewing planner online and keep it in a folder somewhere, but it is really good for referencing your previous projects and for refreshing your memory on those little tweaks that you might need to do to make it perfect. So I can't live without this. I've nearly filled this one up. I'm gonna purchase another one. I just do like the layout of this book. This is a Colette sewing planner, which I think I got from Minerva.com. They might sell them on Amazon, I'm not sure, but I'll leave the link in the description box below. But yes, 100% it saves my life. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you give it like a thumbs up and subscribe and all that great stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.